energy forecast for Tuesday, March 5th. So we have the moon in Capricorn all day. The moon in Capricorn helps us to kind of be a little bit more anchored, more present in our physical bodies, in our physical realm, in our current circumstances. It also provides us an opportunity to really attack our to-do list. We are more concentrated on being kind of productive than we are moving into the emotional realm. We want to keep ourselves busy as a form, as a distraction, if you will, from doing a deep dive in our emotional work. Of course, we can't avoid the emotional work in Pisces season. However, we do have long-term goals that we now have to be thinking about a little bit more seriously. We have options that we need to explore and research, and this particular moon in Capricorn is going to help us kind of get down to the nitty-gritty, really focus, tunnel vision on what it is that we want to build, what we want to create, what it is that we have to clean up, what it is that we have to kind of tie up as far as loose ends go, before we can actually launch ourselves into the building and creation process that, of course, our higher self now wants us to pursue. So there's definitely going to be some highlights here today because we are very much kind of honing in on what needs to be done. And there are going to be some triggers and activations in order for us to have a new aha moment, a new emotional awareness that's going to really help the process to close the door on some particular chapters and cycles, prepare the foundation in this present moment as we start building towards this new quest, this new adventure that, of course, will be kicking off when we jump into the new astrological calendar. So with that being said, there are 11 different aspects taking place here today. 10 of them are going to involve the moon. The moon in Capricorn energy going to make an awkward interaction with Uranus, the Great Awakener, in this Taurus energy. So this is putting us in a little bit of a situation where we're thinking very hard on what needs to change. We may not have that aha moment, that epiphany right now. We're kind of tunnel visioned in on what we have to close the door on, what we have to bring to a finality, to a closure point before we jump into something new. If this was a positive interaction, we would have an aha moment, an epiphany, where our mind would just be opened up, blown, if you will, on kind of seeing things from a different set of eyes. However, this is tunnel vision. This is an opportunity for us to take a good look at the, let's call them frustrating points of our physical realms, where it is that we feel trapped, where it is that we're in cycles that we've outgrown. We really need to emphasize where it is that the stagnancy is alive and well in order for us to figure out what it is that we want to create in the place of the things that we no longer want to experience. The moon is then going to semi-square, creating a little bit of tension and conflict with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, in this Aquarius energy. So this is definitely going to put us in a situation to feel very unhappy, unsatisfied, discontent with our physical realm, with our physical lives. Now, this is likely going to have a major focus on relationship dynamics, on money matters, and on our day-to-day lives, the routine that we're just kind of stuck in at this particular point. We need to be aware of what it is that isn't working in order for us to get serious, get tunnel vision, get focused on what it is that we could do differently in order to kind of, again, break away from this stagnancy, break away from this element of feeling trapped, break away from the mundane, repetitive, every single day the same, that really isn't fulfilling us, isn't bringing happiness, isn't bringing joy, and not making us feel safe and secure in our choices in our everyday lives. So again, doesn't feel good to be highlighted to where it is that we're not feeling so hot, we're not feeling so happy, but it is an energy that we have to tap into in order to feel that discontentment so that we can come up with something better. The moon is then going to make a positive interaction with Mercury. Mercury, of course, rules over the mental plane, rules over information communication, how it is that we express ourselves. Mercury currently in Pisces energy, blending our intellect and our intuition together. Now, the moon and Mercury coming together, the moon is very much our heart space, Mercury very much our head space, and although they are working together, they're not quite on the same page, but they are collaborating. The mercurial energy in Pisces is very inspiring, very imaginative, very creative, and of course the moon in Capricorn just wants to figure out how it is that we can build the structure, the foundation needed, required in order to bring some of these ideas, some of these goals, these visions, these dreams to life. The moon is then going to sextile, beautiful interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma. Now, Saturn rules over the Capricorn energy, so anytime that we're interacting with the ruler of the energy that the moon is currently in, there's going to be an extra oomph here, an extra intensity that we may not get in another aspect where we're interacting with a planet that isn't ruling over the energy that the moon is currently in. Now, Saturn, the Lord of Karma, ruling over roles, responsibilities, systems, structures, foundations, willpower, and discipline, in this Pisces energy is helping us to kind of deconstruct the false, limiting belief system that we have been under, that our ego selves have been under for a very long time. We're looking to kick that to the curb, get a little bit real, a little bit raw, a little bit vulnerable with the actual truth of who it is that we are, who it is that we've always been, but who it is that we didn't feel that we could be because we needed to be a different version of ourselves to either be accepted by the world around us or to fit in or whatever the case may be. Now, this particular energy is very, I'm going to say, stabilizing. It is very, I want to say, serious, somber, but not in a negative way, because this is a positive interaction. What we're getting here is a little bit more serious and somber tunnel vision on what needs to be done. What we need to do on this freaking to-do list to wrap up the old cycles, wrap up those loose ends, and actually provide ourselves with a clean slate in this present moment to get to building a new bridge that is going to get us away from where it is that we're currently at and get us closer to where it is that we desire to be. We are definitely tapping into the tough love life lessons that we've already previously learned. We are kind of extracting that wisdom and knowledge. We're anchoring it into this present moment, and we're using that particular point of reference in order to avoid making some of the mistakes that we made in the past. This is when we are really getting down to the nitty-gritty on the decisions that need to be made, on some, again, doors that need to be closed before we can open new doors up. And it's really just putting us in a different mood, different attitude to think about our long-term goals, our long-term visions, our long-term dreams. The moon is then going to trine, beautiful interaction, with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings in this Taurus energy. So this is Earth on Earth. This is what gives us our trine. And where Jupiter is concerned, he's always bringing a new level of confidence, a new level of optimism. He's kind of like the hype girl of the zodiac at this point. We do have a tendency to kind of bite off more than we can chew, kind of over exaggerate our abilities to do whatever it is that we set our minds to. However, the Earth energy is going to anchor us into reality so that we don't get too far away in la la land. What this is going to do is put us kind of tunnel vision focused on what we need to grow, what we need to build. Again, the chapters, the cycles that are currently closing, we've outgrown them. And although there is a resistance to change, although we are overly attached to kind of the aspects, the elements that our old self had created, there is a realization that we're not growing here. We're too comfortable. We're too cozy. And so the ability to understand that we are creating, at this particular point in time, creating new opportunities for growth, creating opportunities to implement, to integrate the tough love life lessons, the wisdom, the knowledge that we've already accumulated through previous life experiences into this present moment. This is an energy that is going to help support us, going to help kind of define for us what it is that we want to build, create, and start really kind of, moving towards. This is definitely goal oriented. And right now we are thinking very positively, very confidently in what it is that we're able to do. We're kind of pumping ourselves up, really getting riled up in all the best ways and putting ourselves in a situation where we're willing to do what needs to be done, as uncomfortable as it may be, to break out of this present holding pattern and really launch ourselves into a new path, into a new direction. The moon then makes a positive interaction with Neptune. Neptune, of course, in its place of power in Pisces energy. I'm sure you have noticed that I really enjoy Pisces and Capricorn energy working together. Reason being, of course, the Pisces energy allows us to dream, allows us to move into the realm of imagination and into fantasy. It is our higher selves, our spiritual selves, our intuition as well. We are gaining a little bit of intuitive insight on the goal, the vision, the dream that we now want to kind of pursue at this point. And the moon in Capricorn energy is able to manifest those actual elements that we are currently holding very strong in our visual, in our heart space. We are really kind of getting down to the bottom line of what it is that we want to build, what it is that we want to create. Even more than that, what it is that we're now motivated and inspired to actually pursue. The moon is then going to sextile the sun. This is a beautiful energy as well. We're still talking about Pisces and Capricorn energy kind of working together in all of the best ways. But what we know is that when the moon and the sun come together in any kind of interaction, there's a new awareness, emotional awareness, a new focus, a new spotlight, if you will, a new aha moment, a new epiphany. And so we are definitely kind of in the inner realm of thought. We are making to-do lists on, again, what we have to end and close the door on in order to open up the door to start building towards something new. But with this particular interaction, it's almost like we receive an intuitive download that we can make sense of right away, and it inspires a new thought, a new idea for us to research, for us to explore. So it's definitely a high vibe energy where we're starting to piece things together, make sense of a lot of things that have been very confusing to us over the last couple of weeks, and really starting to see where it is that our inner selves are being pulled in one direction, while of course our mind, body, and soul still very much anchored into the old. The moon is going to get into the boxing ring, square off with the North Node in Aries energy. So this is just a prime example on when we kind of have back-to-back positive energies helping us build in a new vibration, new frequency, helping us to be inspired and motivated to make a change, to really kind of evolve, if you will. Just when we reach that point of excitement, that vibration, that frequency, that dark force energy likes to pull us on back. And so the moon squaring off with the North Node, now we're kind of blocked. We have like mental paralysis, emotional paralysis at this moment. We don't understand where it is that we are supposed to initiate the steps to move forward. We don't understand the path to move forward. We don't understand the plan, the strategy. We're overly confused. And because of that, we can definitely sink into a negative Nancy, Debbie Downer type of narrative. Now, we're not going to stay in that for very long. We do have the sun in Pisces energy making a positive interaction with that North Node in Aries. And that is definitely going to shine a bright light on where it is that we have to kind of restore our hopes, our wishes, our dreams, our trust, our faith, not only in ourselves, but in the universe, to show us the way, to show us where it is that we can grow, where it is that we can build, what it is that we can create, what it is that we need to pursue. So like I had mentioned, we do have a positive buildup of energies here all day. The moon squares off with that North Node for a temporary type of timing, long enough for us to kind of, settle into the darkness, if you will. The sun comes to our rescue. The sun and the North Node, they work together. They restore our faith to a certain extent. We need to learn how to trust our intuition, how to trust the greater, grander plan and process. Then the moon, shortly thereafter, makes a positive interaction with Mars, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. Mars is still in Aquarius energy, so the sporadic energy bursts, the sporadic, I'm going to call them bursts of rage and anger that are coming to the surface, the restlessness that we're experiencing, the want, need, and desire to do better, to improve, to take action, to make moves. We, again, are really concentrated on building, cultivating that fire, that spark, that flame within us. We are building towards a major shift in energy when we jump into the new astrological calendar. And so right now, this is kind of like the purging and planning process of kind of getting our ducks in a row, so to speak. And so the moon interacting with Mars in this way, we are hyping ourselves up. We are getting motivated. We are getting hell-bent, damn well, and determined that we are going to do whatever it needs to be done in order to actually rise to the challenge, to the obstacles that we are about to face while embarking on this brand new quest, this brand new mission, brand new purpose and adventure. We are building the energy needed in our inner realm through passion, through inspiration, through motivation, through happiness, through joy, or in some cases, allowing the fuel to actually be anger and frustration. Whatever the case, we are building momentum in our inner realm in order to sustain us through this very, very long path that we know that we're about to set out and really embark upon once we jump into a brand new energy. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in this Capricorn energy getting into the boxing ring, squaring off with Chiron, the wounded healer. So again, prime example, we got in a little bit of a funk. We came out of that funk. We were better for it. We really kind of, rose up above that particular negative narrative. We started seeing things from a different light. We were learning to trust our intuition. We cultivated this powerhouse warrior type of spirit between the moon and Mars. And now we feel that dark force energy just pull us back. And we're definitely going to sit in the funk with this particular interaction because, of course, the Chiron energy, that's highlighting our ego wounds. That's highlighting the pain and the trauma. And right now, emotionally speaking, we're allowing negative Nancy and Debbie Downer to kind of get the best of us here. We are really kind of picking ourselves apart. We're beating ourselves down. We're breaking ourselves down. We are really just dissecting our, I'm going to call it self-esteem, self-confidence. We're really just kind of sitting in the worry, sitting in the anxieties, not feeling as confident as we felt earlier in the day. And that can definitely do a lot of damage if we're not aware of the programming and the energy forcing us into this, let's call it negative mindset, negative emotional perspective. We do have the ability to kind of prevent ourselves from going too deep into the darkness. As long as we can stay ahead of the energy and we have an emotional awareness, we can expect these particular energies to try and take us to the dark side. But of course, with this new level of consciousness, we should be able to see what's happening. We should be able to override that programming and really come out with a new emotional awareness, a new aha moment because of it.